Hi, I'm Dr. Matt B, and these are your Emotional Minutes. And welcome back. And I'm actually here on this beach in Lake Tahoe. And there's actually been a ton of litter this summer and last summer as well, the last couple seasons. Just a ton of litter. A lot of people out here, more than other years, and people just kind of leaving stuff around. And it kind of gets in the way of people being able to enjoy this great scenic area. So I thought I'd come here and actually pick up some trash. And the reason I did this was to try to do something meaningful, because meaningful activities are actually another positive emotion regulation strategy that we've been talking about so far. So basically that's what we'll talk about today in this episode, is basically meaningful activities. And so what do we mean when we say meaningful activities? So these are activities that actually come to benefit other people or society at large, or some sort of greater cause or purpose. And actually purposefully engaging in these activities, doing these intentionally on purpose, and sometimes even if we didn't plan to, can actually give us a really good sense of positivity and boost our mood and emotions, and also focus our attention away from the negative and onto more positive and enjoyable content in our lives. So positive emotions actually end up giving us some feeling that we're sort of contributing to the greater good and sort of accomplishing something for others. And these activities actually have a real positive benefit on emotion and emotion regulation. So they really help us recognize our own strengths and virtues. And they're actually similar to acts of kindness in that they give us a sense that we're actually really good people. Again, bring our attention away from the negative and toward the positive, and protect us against things like depression, anxiety, or high levels of negative emotion in general. So what are some examples of some meaningful activities? So something just like this, like picking up trash somewhere at a beach or a park, things like volunteering time at a food bank, giving blood, taking time to help out a loved one or a friend or maybe a coworker that might need some support in some way. Also taking your time out to volunteer in maybe other places. Again, but they can be smaller scale things you can do every day with your time that might not have been planned in previously. And as you can tell, really these involve actually giving a lot of time to some sort of beneficial task. Now, sometimes people will say, well, I'll give some money to an organization or something like that, a nonprofit. And that can provide some sense of meaning, but it's usually pretty fleeting. So oftentimes actually, giving your time to do something, so for example, volunteering for the Special Olympics, for example, to help out, those sorts of things actually provide a lot of meaning and a lot of benefit. So some sort of time and giving a task to some sort of organization, or again, some greater good or some greater cause like this. And so sometimes people will say, well, there's a lot of examples of meaningful activities. How do I really choose? And oftentimes, one way to choose is by sort of focusing on something that's pretty meaningful to you. So me, for example, I really love Lake Tahoe and I love this beach. And so that's kind of why I chose to come here today and pick up trash as a meaningful activity. So others could enjoy this place that I really enjoy a lot. But sometimes people will give time or efforts to some sort of organization. Say it's a medical organization of some sort of scientific pursuit, say a cancer organization, for example, if a family member has experienced something like that or some other disorder or diagnosis. That can provide a lot of meaning as well. Or maybe it's just a cause that you might care about. So for some people, it might be environmental causes. For other people, it might be, helping people who are less fortunate, or people in poverty, things like that. So usually picking something that's really sort of close to you or something that you care about can actually be a really good and effective way to choose a meaningful activity. And similar to some of the previous episodes when we've talked about doing, sort of pleasurable or engaging activities, these activities can really be done in a scheduled sense, where you're actually saying, okay, on a certain day at a certain time, I'm going to do a meaningful activity, or just breaking them out off the cuff unexpectedly. If you've had a more difficult day and you need something to help you sort of boost your emotions, engaging in these activities are usually shown to do that, especially after a stressful or difficult day. And then these things can also be done socially or non-socially, by yourself or with other people. And usually a mix of all of those things can be good. So doing them scheduled or off the cuff, kind of mixing those up, and then also doing them socially or non-socially can be a really helpful thing as well. So again, I'm Dr. Matt B, and I'm gonna get back to this beach and pick up a little more trash. And then after I do that, I'm gonna hang out on the beach and just enjoy it. So again, these are your Emotional Minutes, and thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time.